Well, Nick, first and foremost, appreciate you taking the time to join here. I know Lauren, I work closely with her. She said a lot of good things about you and said you've had some pretty good success with using HBW leads. So I got the questions in front of me, so I'll just kind of roll into it. The first one is just tell me a little about yourself, your agency, and what you do.
So my agency is very new. I'm actually in the genesis of building it. I started it maybe 4 months ago. And really what I do is I take the time to explain everything to my customers. So that way they feel empowered to make their own decisions instead of just selling to a price. I'm trying to overcome the industry shift of treating insurance like a commodity and therefore leaving people highly exposed and just really not understanding what they're buying and what they're paying for and how they're protected and stuff like that too.
Yeah, just exactly. Sell them the value. Everybody can sell price, but if you can sell the value and how much you care, that'll go a long ways.
Absolutely.
So you just started a few months ago. Do you have any employees right now, or is it just yourself?
Just me, unless the free work that my wife does all the time counts, but I don't think it does.
There you go. Help her there.
Right.
So why did you decide to become an insurance agent? What brought you into the field?
So, just to kind of expand on what I just said, it's seeing the people around me being affected by the same thing, by not understanding their coverage, and therefore, whenever the worst happens, it doesn't work and doesn't cover it like they thought, and they're shelling out hundreds or thousands of dollars out of pocket, and just trying to give back to the community and really help people. That's my drive. That's the bread and butter. That's why I'm in it. That's all I really care about.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Yeah, need more people like you. That's for sure.
Well, I appreciate that.
So let's look forward to the HBW sides of things here. So we'll talk about your buyer journey. So how did you first hear about HBW leads?
So honestly, I first heard about HBW leads just by going to the Farmers Growth store. With the growth program that Farmers has, we have an internal store, if you will, and it's just a list of all the recommended lead vendors. Of course, everyone who's applicable for cost share and growth bucks. So I just went through there and kind of did my research and talked to a lot of other agents and of course to see who they're using and my advisors and really that's what I did that's how I heard about HBW.
Okay. And this might be a simple question, but why did you decide to add HBW leads to your lead generation strategy? Were there any challenges you were looking to overcome, or what kind of brought you to that solution?
So the main thing, and this is going to sound kind of silly, the main thing that solidified my decision, if you will, with HBW was just my rep Lauren. She took the time to explain everything to me. She was patient. She took the same approach with me that I do with my customers. She probably called me over 3 or 4 weeks and just answering random questions here or there, taking the patience and letting me do my homework. The exclusivity of HBW is really the game changer. With Farmers, we have 5 weeks of cohort. It's and 2 weeks of those are 8 to 6 in class on top of all the modules and this, that, and the other. Doesn't leave much time to call people. So I turned off all the other leads that were non-exclusive, kept my HBWs, and I'm still following up on them to this day. I still haven't worked through my whole list, but I don't have to worry about 15 other people calling them or taking them. I can have that type of patience.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Exclusive, not shared with anybody else, totally exclusive to yourself and your agency. So would you say, is that the biggest difference you would say you've experienced with HBW compared to the other lead providers, or was there anything else?
So the main difference with, having that exclusivity means that your customers aren't getting called 15 times every hour.
Right.
Of course, that not having that irritation, they're not only are they more willing to talk to you, they're more patient. They're not mad. You don't get cussed out. You don't get the hang-ups. You don't get you don't get the beratement that you do with some of these other ones that are just getting pestered 24/7. Not only that, but it just allows me to take my approach a little bit differently. The approach of trying to help them, trying to find holes in their coverage, if you will, so that way we can fill them. For that same reason, they're not being pitched to 40 times a day. They're not having 15 sets of numbers thrown at them. So that exclusivity is kind of key.
Mm-hmm. And are you purchasing, is it auto and home, or is it just one or the other?
I did half and half. So I did 104 leads over the first month. Again, it's part of that was just so I could start building my pipeline, if you will. I know it's a lot for just one person, but I did half and half. So I did half of the home and half of the auto. And my success is kind of going on both.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a numbers game. The more opportunities you have, the more chance you have to close more business. So that's
Absolutely.
Good. So talk to me about some of the growth goals that your agency has for, I know we're in the fourth quarter here, but maybe for the remainder of this year and into next year. And, how is HBW helping you?
So the one way that HBW is really helping me is kind of already happening. Like I said, I still have 73 leads, I think, from last month. Not only am I still actively working them, but I'm still closing sales and stuff that I got 2 months ago. You can't say that with any other lead. So having that in my back pocket, having that exclusivity is really helping me have the growth that I need to get to the point where I can start having a lot more follow-ups and stuff like that.
Good. Yeah. And you're keeping that sales pipeline full. That's good to hear.
Absolutely.
Now, I always ask this question to every agent I talk to because everybody's a little different on their strategy approach. But what are some of the sales techniques or strategies you've found to be successful that's enabling, well, I'd say yourself to be successful in closing the leads? I know you talked about your approach a little bit, being straightforward, but, talk to me a little bit further about that.
So, I mean, there's kind of two things that I do that one of the things my mentor kind of tries to steer me away from. But the one thing that I'm not afraid to do is admit whenever it's not the right fit. For instance, let's say that the coverage is better or something like that. And if they can get that same coverage at their current company for $5 less or something like that, I have no problem telling them they're better off staying there. Wow. Now, the second part of that is having patience. I have a customer right now, his wife has cancer, has had cancer for 20 years. She has stage 4 terminal brain cancer. The first 2 calls that we have had, I didn't even pitch them, didn't even talk about insurance. All we talked about was his family. Mm-hmm. So the reason that I can do that is because I don't have to worry about 10 other people calling him. You see the common theme here, the exclusivity changes everything. And through that, we developed the relationship to where now we're not just talking about home and auto. It cascaded into everything else exactly how I wanted it to be. So it's instead of just having one call with people or a 10-minute conversation or a 15-minute conversation while you're trying to build a quote, it's becoming a true relationship building venture for both of us. Mm-hmm. And not only is that, it's affecting my close rate because I don't have to try as hard. I know that sounds conceited, but having that relationship built, people are closing themselves because they like the patience. I don't have to worry about getting to a close date and all of a sudden people are backing out either because we've already built it. I've had the patience with them. We have built that relationship before we even get to the true pitch. It's kind of a backwards approach for this industry. I understand that, but it's been really working for me.
Yeah, you don't have the pressure either, that you have to hard, pitch them right there and sell them. You can take your time with it and get to know people. And I think that's good for your demeanor and your process.
Yeah.
Do you have a follow-up process? Like, do you follow up every couple of days or how do you kind of approach that?
So how I approach it is on day one, if you will, not to be too lengthy here, but on day one, of course, you reach out and call them as soon as you can. I do a call with you guys. You guys have the questions built in of when is the best time to follow up. Mm-hmm. And again, that's kind of an ace in a hole, if you will, because I'm not pestering people while they're not wanting phone calls. Right. I can target on a direct time frame. So once I get to that time frame, I call them once. About 80 or 90% of people usually answer on the first time, so it's nice and easy. But for the ones that don't answer, I do a second day follow-up. I try and call them every day for the first week, and then the second week, maybe every other day. Okay. But after that first call, I use Agency MVP with automatic workflows and all that kind of stuff. So as soon as I call them, I always send a personalized text message. So that way, because I use Verizon One phone, and it's just a soft phone I can use through my computer. So
Mhm.
it's super easy. I can type it out super fast, and it's just a short, "Hey, this is Nick with Farmers. Just wanted to follow up with you with this." And then I always send just a quick link to my website and just say, if you want to put a face in the name to know I'm not a scammer or a robot, here's this. I get a lot of traction on that. And
Mhm.
also using the automatic workflows with MVP, I can text and email straight from that. So I log the call, and then I set up a workflow, and then I set up my schedules, if you will, to call them back, and then everything else is just automatic. It's just a matter of answering what comes in or what doesn't, and just keep repeating that process
Mhm.
day after day. I don't send text messages or emails on my follow ups for the rest of the first week, but come the second week, yes, I try and keep it to just one a week. That way, they don't think I'm trying to convert myself into spamming them.
Yeah, that's good. You're staying consistent with it. And it's amazing how much the texting has transformed into business. I think people
Oh yeah,
didn't initially think that. And it's like, teenagers and everything, just texting and everything. But now everybody does it, and it's businesses are selling it, and it works because it's
yep.
direct. And a lot of people like to avoid the phone call. So it's more interesting approach.
Oh yeah, I've actually sold a policy over text. I mean, it was weird. I never talked to the person once. It was the
Oh,
weirdest thing
really?
I've ever seen. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it's just, especially for all these people at work, people have 2 or 3 jobs now, and this, that, and the other. They don't have time to call. They don't have time to answer their phones and voicemails. I'm bad about it too. Until I started this agency and I have to answer my voicemail, I kept it full so no one could leave me a
Oh,
voicemail.
wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, having that texting is just a quick, concise, a little tidbit, adds validity to the call, if you will. And it really has changed everything, especially because with email, I mean, it's a 99% chance that everything you do with email is going to go straight to spam unless they've opened it once.
Yep.
So that avenue is, and understandably so, but that avenue is really closed. So really having, and I need to preface it by saying after you get permission, of course, but really having the texting is the ace in the hole too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And the email is just oversaturated. I get so many
Yeah.
emails in my inbox. Final question, Nick, it's kind of a wild card question. You're new in this, you've been in a couple months now. If you could offer one piece of advice or knowledge that you've learned along the way so far in your journey to other insurance agents, whether aspiring or existing, what would that be?
Just keep it real. Don't have the pressure on yourself. Approach it as people. Don't approach it as customers. Don't approach it as a sale. Don't approach it as I need this policy. We're in this industry to help people. The reality of insurance is it is what we are telling them and what we are promising our customers that this company is going to do to protect them on their worst day. We need to keep that in mind. We need to stop approaching people as just cows and herds and this, that, and the other, and go back to the humanity side of things and really focus on protecting the people, which is what this is all about.
That's a great approach. Yeah. And I don't know where the quote came from, but I've heard it from before. It's people join people, whether from organizations or if you're buying a product. That's usually what it comes down to. So, yeah.
And another quote on top of that is one of my favorites is no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know who said that. Was that Dale Carnegie? I feel like it'll be a quote by him.
I can't remember, so therefore it came from me, right? Isn't that how this works?
There you
go. No, I don't know. I just heard it in my in that 5 weeks worth of onboarding. I heard it in there, and that's something I plan on blowing up and putting on one of these bad boys behind me and putting it on my wall too.
There you go. Yeah,
to keep everyone centered.
Yep, build a good culture. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Nick, that's all the questions I have. So I want to thank you for taking the time. And it's really unique to get your perspective, especially with you being a newer agent, and really focusing on that human side of things is, I think, really powerful. And I think that's going to take you tenfold in your career in this industry.
I appreciate that.
Need more people to focus on that too. So that's good.